What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Plant Remedy Podcast. It's your host, Chef Bay, as always. If you're new here, welcome to the show. I am a professional chef, a vegan activist, I'm a cookbook author, and obviously a podcast host. So I'm so glad that you're here. Today we have a super special guest, actually my favorite guest. He's been on the show a lot of times at this point, actually. I think it's like, 6 or 7 times at least in our 80-something episodes. So welcome to the show to my husband and my business partner, and pretty much the glue that holds me and like our whole business together.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah, I'm so excited that we're here. I love like having little gaps in our guest schedule so that we can come on and be on the show together, because I think they're like some of our most popular episodes. People love you.
Yeah. The last one was our finale episode for season 2. I say that because we're not doing seasons anymore. We're just having the podcast every 2 weeks, which I think is more fun. But yeah, that season finale has like the most listens than any podcast we have.
I also think it's because we took such a long hiatus that people would be like, oh, she has a podcast, and it would be like the last one we had.
No, it was together with all of them.
Yeah. I just
after
mean
the
in between.
finale.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But anyway, regardless of if you've been here with us forever or this is your first episode, we're stoked to have you here. We've been podcasting for a couple years now. Steve's the podcast manager. He basically like books the guests. All I do is basically show up and record. And Steve does everything else. So he gets me set up. He books the guests. He helps me write the questions. He edits the show. He posts the show. He does all the social media for the show. So let's give a nice little round of applause to Steve for making everything happen.
It used to be just you, though. Mm-hmm. You know, I think the first like 30 episodes
was just me.
Was just you, and you were doing it on like your like recording phone app.
My voice notes.
Your voice notes.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So we've come a long way, and I think that being said, if you are trying to start a new podcast, it's okay that you don't have all the right equipment.
Yeah.
Like even everything you see here has taken so much time, and we never got it all at once, but slowly but surely we've, invested in the money for upgrades and
literally one thing at a time. Like I had like my microphone headset on my wish list forever, and then finally I was just like, dude, I gotta invest, and it's been the best investment.
It's been amazing. And this podcast, I think, is just, for me, I love being on the backside of it, not being the face of it, but being able to like interact with all of the guests, all of your hosts. Just it feels like so good to actually like listen to these podcasts and just really break them down for everyone to listen to, and actually like just it's empowering to know that what you're doing with all these people that you're always talking with is that you're trying to just help spread awareness, help spread compassion, help spread more love. And I'm just like I feel like the catalyst to like help that, like get that message from like where you have it to like the people.
Yeah, you're the train, you're the bridge.
And so now like it's been fun just taking over, especially for like the Instagram. We have a whole Plant Remedy Podcast Instagram. If you're not on it, you should follow. I try to post as much as often and try to be as
active as you can.
Steve's not like daily.
Steve's not like a big Instagram guy, so this is a good like challenging project.
I'm like, I go on Instagram every like 2 days kind of thing, So if I don't reply, then just wait 2 more days and then I'll reply.
Steve needs a solid 2 days. If you email him or something, you just gotta wait like a couple days for him to get around to it.
Bailey's instantaneous.
5 seconds, you get an email back, which is also like a sickness. Like I have a problem. Anyway, we're digressing so much from the point of why we're here. But before we get into it, I thought it would be fun to go over our like top 3 highs and lows so far of 2023.
Yeah.
And without like fully disclosing like the big announcement that we have in this show. So let's not say that one. Okay. But we'll say, so you go first 3. We'll say lows first.
You go first.
Okay.
Or, okay, I'll go first. The 3 lows.
I know. Do we have any lows?
It's been a pretty good year so far. I will say the low is just, I hate to say it, like our car right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a new-ish car, and recently like we just got everything looked at and they said everything was fine, but the last like couple days the brakes,
Yeah.
more so the front brakes, like they're so-called good still according to the
mechanic,
the dealership,
the
actual dealership, but it sounds really bad, so that's like definitely a low
stress. It's stressing him out like you guys wouldn't even believe. Like he can't even sleep at night because he's thinking about the car.
Definitely the low is that there's ants are back in the house again. You know, we do so much cooking and everything that it's been really, I know I hate to say this because most of the country is like in ice, but San Diego, it's been really nice weather, so everything's been really hot. And when it's usually middle of summer, the ants come out of the woodwork, you know,
the walls, literally,
because it's like it's warm, but it's been so warm that the ants have been coming out. So, you know, we found like our pecans had ants all over them, or our walnuts. It's pretty much the nuts,
which
that they
is
go
so
for.
annoying because nuts are so expensive right now. It was like $50 for the nuts.
And then my other third low is, I don't have one. I feel like I'm just right now. I'm gonna just go into the best threes. The threes right now is just our business actually taking off. It's always taking off. I feel like every entrepreneur, it's like we're taking off to the next level. But for real, it feels like all this work that we've been doing is finally paying off. So there's definitely that high. The second really big high is just, honestly, like the cookbook kind of revamping. You know, I feel like for a while we had this cookbook. It was amazing. We did everything. You know, and now it was kind of slowing down. Yeah. You know, at least like people talking about it and being like, hey, what's new? It was old news. Well, recently with us going more viral and hitting that new edge, I feel like the cookbook has gained like so much more strength and so many more people are talking about it.
I mean, it's been in the top 10 in vegetarian diets on Amazon for like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. So I think that's definitely a really good high. And then the third high is...
If you don't say the one that I think you're going to say, I like don't even know who you are.
Well, you told me not to say it.
No, that surf day that you had.
Well, yeah, of course. We've actually had, the third high.
First high.
I was gonna say my third high was the dogs. You know, it's been almost a year now that we've had our second rescue, Pina, and Pina has been like the cutest, best thing for our family.
She's literally so freaking cute.
She's so cute, and like she's literally the glue. Like Bailey says, I'm the glue that holds us together, but it's really Pina that holds me, Bailey, and Coco together.
Because she's just so happy and silly all the time.
Yeah, so those are my highs.
Okay,
and
but
then
like,
the fourth high was the surf. The surf was really good.
Steve surfed the biggest wave of his life.
Back in January. We had a lot of really good surf. So
he pretty much surfed for, what did you say, like 40 days in a row or something?
It was like 30 days.
It was aggressive. It was at a point where I was like, can you like not surf today, please? Can we do something together? Yeah, that's like being married to a surfer. Okay, my lows and highs. I would say like one of my biggest lows has just been like our current apartment situation is driving me crazy. So like with the rain that we've had, all of our windows leaked and like all the carpet got super soaked. And so I've had like a lot of anxiety that we're like living in mold. I've already kind of had anxiety about us living in mold because this building is really old and like there's just been a lot of, I mean, we have like French doors in the building and I just don't feel like it's super sealed. And I've had, ever since we moved in, my really bad allergies have progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And so I really think that like we're living in mold, which freaks me out.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big low for me. And we like live above an Airbnb and the whole situation's just driving me crazy. So that's been super frustrating. And then
including the ants.
I mean, I'm like
that's kind of piggybacking off of that.
I know. I mean, I'm like unfazed by ants.
Yeah.
Like I could care less, but Steve will literally lose sleep over it. It's so funny. And then any other, I like don't know if I have any other lows. Like honestly, I'm in such a freaking good place. And it's weird because, you know, I'll have friends call me and like complain about their relationships or their jobs or like their health, and like I'm literally like just cannot relate right now, which is crazy, but I just feel like I'm in such a good place that I would say like another low is like seeing this sounds crazy, but like becoming more viral. I mean, we've gotten like over 30,000 followers in the last 2 months on Instagram. With that comes the price though of seeing like the really negative side of humanity and like how like really evil people can be online. And like I'm really seeing so much of that. Like like people will comment things, like I actually laugh because I think it's so funny, but people will comment things and be like, this is fucking disgusting, or like will call me just like super crude things, or will like talk about my body. And it's just like, you know, before I had this little bubble of this super positive community on Instagram, which I still pretty much do. But now that like all our posts are going to mainly people that don't follow us, which is like exactly what you want, you're also getting the side of it of just like shit, like the shit side of humanity, honestly. And it's just been really kind of like interesting to navigate. And at this point I'm laughing. Like I just think it's comical that people like have such hate within themselves that they like really find the need and have the time to project that outward. So that has been like really interesting. And it's something to note that like if you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to do social media and you're just wondering why you haven't gone viral, once you go viral, you'll realize that it's not all like peaches and cream. Like posts only go viral when there's controversy in the comments. It's the only time it happens because the algorithm really likes people just like commenting back and forth to each other. So like you're going to have controversy. So that's something that I've definitely really had to deal with. And that's it. I only have 2 blows. That's it.
And sometimes I feel like it's not like only the posts that will go viral are people bickering back and forth. But I feel like most of the time you don't have people commenting positive things back and forth. Right. You know, it's like only the bad side, which then in an algorithm they just see, oh, people are commenting back and forth. Yeah. But really it's usually the negatives.
Yeah.
And it's
people are so cruel, like to each other in the comments. Like I'm just like, you guys, like. And
I feel like we've had friends even like
reach
call
out to
us or reach out to
They're
us.
Like, are you guys okay?
And they're like, I was on your lentil recipe and the one person said this and then someone said this and then you responded to the one person and I just can't believe they said that, and Bailey was just like, I'm unfazed. I feel like a year or 2 ago you would have been phased. We would have been phased.
Like cried about it.
But like now it's just
a part of it.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to take the punches sometimes. You got to like kind of build up a steel wall to that kind of stuff because you can't gain like popularity without having that negative aspect to it. So yeah, those are my lows. It's so funny that I literally don't have another one.
I didn't.
Oh, okay, I have it. I actually remember our book sold. It's like a high and a low, but our book sold out everywhere, and it was so frustrating getting the book back in stock. And everyone was really frustrated with me online, like all of our followers. That was like so hard to navigate because like as an author, this is so good to know too. Just like as a consumer, authors have literally no control. Like zero control. They have zero control of like where the books go, how much the books are priced, if they go on sale, if they're in stock, what countries they're in stock in, how many they stock up. Like I have no control. Like I'm pretty much just like letting them take the wheel on everything because you don't really have a choice. You basically write the book and then they distribute. And so, you know, it's really hard to navigate. So yeah, give your authors a little patience as they navigate like 100 people in between.
Totally.
You know, you getting your book and the author actually having the book. But the highs are like, you know, our Instagram blowing up has been really amazing. I personally have been spending a shit ton of time on my personal health. I'm like literally thriving right now, you guys. I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking tons of water every day. I'm doing my skincare every day. I'm working out every day. I'm thriving.
I know.
I'm like literally doing all the things. It's so cool because it like in November, December, I wasn't feeling great just from the holidays and stuff. I was having a lot of like body confidence issues as well. And yeah, so I basically bought all new jeans and like now I'm doing my thing. I went to yoga this morning, went to yoga sculpt yesterday, went to yoga the day before that. I'm walking the dogs every day. Like I'm just feeling really good.
And not drinking either.
And I'm not drinking.
I feel like at the end of the year,
yeah,
it was like November, December, we were just
drinking.
We were traveling, we were drinking, we were hanging out with friends.
Holiday parties.
And so now it's been what, February 8th, and we haven't drinking since December 31st.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same way.
And we barely drank on New Year's.
No.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah,
it's clear. I just feel like so clear and energized, and
clarity.
Like just feel so good. So I'm just really excited about that. And like I think the final thing I would say is I'm just feeling really positive, and like I'm not having anxiety right now. I'm just feeling really positive about like what lies ahead for us this year. And I think that alone, just having that feeling is just such a high for me, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty as a business owner, and just like in the world in general right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I'm just feeling good, and like I just want this feeling to last all year long. And also my birthday's in a couple days, and I just get like so lit up in February. I'm just like, oh, and we're going to Kauai. Like, are you kidding?
We're going to Hawaii.
We're going to Kauai. Oh my God, I'm so excited for Kauai, and we're leaving in a week.
That's definitely the last high.
That is like this. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. So yeah, we got the whole trip on credit card points. If you guys aren't utilizing your credit card points, you're missing out. Spend every dollar that you spend on a credit card, and then just pay it off every single month, and you'll get free trips.
Make sure you have enough money to pay it off. I feel like,
that's
always the disclaimer.
Yeah, don't spend money you don't have.
Yes.
Yeah. Although, like, I sometimes spend money we don't have, but then we figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I really wanted to do this podcast together because we have been up to stuff, and we can't share everything we've been up to. And I know I've been alluding to a lot on social media, so I thought it was only fair that we shared some of the things that we've been up to. And so we have a big announcement. And at least it's big for us. Maybe no one will care, but it's okay. So our big announcement is, drum roll, we're moving.
We're moving.
So excited. We have had it up to here with our current apartment situation.
Yeah. It's been 5+ years.
5.5 almost exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's funny when you move somewhere, the first year or two, you're just kind of getting used to it, I feel like. But then like by the third year, you're accumulating things.
You're locked in.
And then 4 years, 5 years, you're just like, before you look around, it's been like 5 years, and you're like, how do we have this much stuff?
Yeah.
And it's not even like, and a lot of it we do use, but there is also some stuff we don't use. And I feel like
I don't think so.
It'll be good to just kind of clean house, refresh, get rid of some stuff.
Yeah. I can't wait to get rid of our couch. I've been trying to get rid of our couch for 2 years, and Steve wouldn't let me because of the puppy, but like it is time. I literally want to burn it, but I won't. I'll donate it. Just like ceremonially burn the couch. In my mind, that's what I'll do. I hate this couch so much.
We'll just put it for free.
We'll gift it.
Someone will pick it up.
If anyone in San Diego wants a free couch, holler at your girl, because you can have it. But anyway, I do want to say though, like this apartment has been so good to us, you guys.
So good.
We're living in this 2-bedroom beachside apartment, 2 blocks from the beach. It's got huge windows, tons of light. Every single piece of content we've ever created has pretty much been in this apartment right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see. But it's
this is where the magic happens.
All right here, yeah. But it's pretty much just like one big room, and then there's like 2 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms though is like the entrance to the apartment, so I wouldn't even qualify it as a bedroom. It's more of like an entry room.
Well, yeah, and I think we say all this, but going backwards to people listening and most people that don't even know us, is that it was a stretch to move into our new place now. It's going to be a little stretch.
Yeah.
But it was such a stretch to move into this place.
Oh my God, such a stretch for us.
When we first met, we were bartending together.
Yep.
And
I was living with a girlfriend.
She was living in North Park. I was living in Ocean Beach. Mm-hmm. And
we were both doing like the grungy roommate situation.
Yes. Both of our roommates were a little not ideal, to say the least. And it was fairly cheap for me. I think it was kind of fairly cheap for you.
Yeah.
And luckily, this is also what I like. If you're ever looking for a place, we always put out the feelers by just talking to people about it, because you were actually getting your hair done or something, right?
No, I was working with a client on a project.
You were working with a client on a project, and you were like, oh, hey, like I have to leave soon. I have to go look at this place with my boyfriend. We're trying to like move in together.
Yeah.
And your client was like, well, actually, I have a 2-bedroom that I'm like renovating in Pacific Beach.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, we're going to go look at this place. We'll come back. If we don't like this place, we'll like take you up on your offer. And then we looked at this, I think it was a 1-bedroom.
Do you remember that place? It was literally like a Hobbit house.
It was a 1-bedroom in Ocean Beach. Right there, like almost right on Newport.
It was right on the ocean.
It was right on the ocean.
But Steve like couldn't stand up all the way in it. He was literally, because he's 6'4".
Certain rooms you couldn't stand up, and I'm 6'4". But it was like the hallways were shorter. It didn't make sense. It was like the room would be up here, and then the hallways would be.
He would have to like full duck down just to get a tour, and the closet was literally like the size of my computer. Like it was so small. I was like, we're gonna break up if we move into this place.
It was like 1,700 or something.
It was like 1,800, which is like dirt cheap now to today's standards.
And we were just like, okay, we don't want this. So then you hit up your client, and I love telling the story because we don't tell it very often.
Yeah, it was very synchronistic.
Yeah, we just like, her client was like, okay, let's come look at this place in Pacific Beach. And I wanted to live in Ocean Beach.
He was like hardcore. If you know anything about San Diego, and if you don't, okay, so like Ocean Beach is like this hippie town where like everyone is freaking ride or die for Ocean Beach. Yeah. Like no one leaves OB if you live in OB, and no one moves outside of OB. If you say like, oh, I'm going to PB for the night, which is Pacific Beach, which is where we live, people are like, oh my God, why are you doing that? Like it's so silly and ridiculous.
For people that don't live here, like the
culture around it.
The culture of it is so bizarre.
It's so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
People are so cliquey with their neighborhoods. It's so funny. But anyway, so I was like...
And I was that person.
He was like...
Because I moved from Chicago. Yeah. I moved to Ocean Beach. I lived there for 3 years.
And like that was it. You were ride or die.
And I was like ride or die. Like I love Ocean Beach.
You were also like a super like kind of dirty hippie at the time.
I was like a dirty hippie. I found my tribe. I was going nowhere.
You were like eating the same burritos every day. Like you were very locked in. You were super locked in. So anyway, we were okay. So I remember driving up to look at this apartment, and
I was yelling at you.
You were so pissed. You were like,
so angry.
We are not moving to Pacific Beach. Like fuck this.
And the rent was literally like twice as much than.
Okay. I just want to give you guys some context. Steve was living in this dinky ass apartment. Okay, it was lined. Okay, the living room was lined with 3.
Be cautious what you say.
3 free couches. Okay, 3 free couches. That's all that was in the living room on each wall that they found on the street. And then, like, he had no furniture in his bedroom. There was no furniture. Like, there would be, like, 2 things at a time in the fridge. Like, it was just, like, the most bro-y, dinky surfer kind of situation. And he was paying, like, $600 a month.
Was I?
It was you were so floored when I was like, okay, we each have to pay $1,100 to live here.
Yeah, I was paying like $600.
So then when I was like, hey, your rent's gonna double, he literally like looked like he was gonna like run away and never come back. He was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? So then we look at this place, we walk in though, and we're like so in love with it. It has 2 decks.
The place, it was this actually. If you're watching, it was this, but it had none of the appliances.
The kitchen was gutted.
The deck was in there. It was like completely gutted. The windows weren't even in yet.
That's true.
So it was just like an open space.
Yeah.
It was like windy too. So there was like I remember like leaves were blowing in.
Yeah.
And he kind of put us on the spot. He's like, well, I'm trying to do this, but I feel like I have someone else looking at it who wants to pay like more because they wanted more for it.
Yeah, they negotiated it with us, which was really nice of them.
And so like long story short, we ended up
signing the lease that day.
Which like I feel like when they talk about like believing, like trusting in the universe, that was like the first
big moment.
The first big trust in the universe that you and I had ever done. And now it's funny looking back at it now because we've had probably like 5 or 6 or 7 of those moments.
Like I swear every day we have moments like that.
Well, yeah, but like big moments.
Yeah.
And we just trusted in the universe. And I remember we went outside, we like grabbed each other's arms, we looked at each other, and we were like, "Are we really gonna do this?" It's like pretty much double our budgets.
Okay, I was already paying that rent.
And
for you.
And are we gonna do this? And we signed it, and then pretty much
and like comically enough, like we signed the lease, we get in the car, and I like pull out super quick and like run the car into the pole that's in the driveway. And there was like this huge crash, and like Omar, like our landlord runs out, and he's like, "What just happened?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I just backed up into the pole." That was so bad.
There's a telephone line outside, and there's a big yellow pole that literally you cannot miss.
That was such a... But we were in the Fiat, and I couldn't see it.
We definitely did not.
The bumper is still, like, not fixed from that 5 years later.
5 years later.
It's just, like, it totaled the car, kind of, in a sense. Like, the Fiat isn't really worth very much now, so, like, the bumper would cost more than the whole car.
Literally, yeah. It's
so we were just,
technically
like, fuck it.
totaled, I guess you could say.
A bumper.
It's just a bump.
Okay, anyway, but that was funny. But yeah, so then we ended up moving in here, and it's so funny when you look at like perspective. So 5.5 years ago, like I didn't have my business set up here. I was still bartending. I was chronically sick with endometriosis still.
So bad.
You were bartending.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any dogs. We didn't have any furniture.
We weren't vegan.
It was just like so different.
So different.
We were babies.
I know.
Yeah. I know, I was 25. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Oh.
And I feel like
so much love has happened here.
So much love has happened.
Like we have grown up so much. We literally got married and had our wedding party downstairs in the Airbnb downstairs. And
it was the middle of COVID, and
yeah, we have a whole actually wedding episode if you guys want to go listen to that. But yeah, we've had just so much has happened here, you know, like we got the dogs here. We wrote our whole cookbook here. We've had lots of funny arguments in this house. Like
we've had some amazing parties in this house.
So many good parties. Yeah. 4th of July specifically. This is the 4th of July party house. Everyone knew it.
I will say too, before we were vegan and we invited everyone for Thanksgiving, it was our first Thanksgiving here, and we invited a bunch of people, like probably like 20 people.
It was like 30.
We told everyone that you had to bring a food dish. It was like a potluck. But you know how potlucks, you tell everyone to bring a food dish. But
we did like a Mexican theme. So we were doing turkey tacos is what we did.
Yeah, we did Mexican themed, and every single person actually brought something.
Well, and everyone brought like...
it was like mostly vegetarian.
I was like, okay, you do sides, you do drinks, you do this, you do starters, and everyone brought it. And we had the most epic Thanksgiving we've ever had.
So epic.
It was so good.
And we had a Polaroid camera that we were taking, which I need to invest in another one because all of our Polaroids are from like years ago.
Yeah.
But we had a Polaroid camera that when everyone was at the party, we would just like hand the Polaroid camera around, and everyone would take pictures, and then by the end of the night we would have like 30 amazing
those
Polaroids.
Photos are so good.
And we still have them to this day.
We should do like an Instagram post with some of our Polaroids from this house. That would be awesome.
It'd be awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we're just reminiscing super hard because it's like, it's so weird because I, living in San Francisco, moved every freaking couple months. I felt like I could never find a place that was like, felt like home. And like both of us grew up in our childhood homes, and we pretty much lived there all through childhood. Like neither of us really moved around a lot when we were kids. And you moved around a lot when you moved to San Diego.
Yeah, when I moved out of my mom's house, I feel like every year I moved.
Yeah, and so we were able to really just like land here. We like really fell in love here. We really kind of grew up. I was able to heal here. You were able to like emotionally heal here from your childhood. And like just so much happened in this house, you know? Like I remember in December, I had this feeling that we were going to move soon. And I was just like crying watching the sunset over the ocean from our deck. And I was like, this is the most special fucking place. And the fact that like we were able to like stumble onto this place and build like such a beautiful like relationship and life full of just like love and vibrancy and like compassion in this place, because there's something so special about this place specifically. Like we love all of our alley neighbors. We like have our golf cart, like we walk the dogs to the beach. We like, it's just such, and like I'm looking out the window and I just see like lines of palm trees. Like it's so fucking picturesque, and it's literally what I always wanted when I was a kid, like living in Colorado. And so I just am really proud of us and like everything that we've accomplished here, because I never would have thought like when we moved into this place that
we would be here.
We would be here.
Never.
So yeah, you guys, we're moving. And with that said, we're moving to like this sick house.
Yeah, we're moving like a mile away from here,
Yeah,
2
it's
miles.
5 minutes.
And it has everything that we need, pretty much like when you have a checklist of like
all the things.
We just honestly like a dishwasher, laundry.
Oh yeah, caveats, you guys. We go to the laundromat and it's rough.
And so it has more storage space. It's just more space, and we're just like super excited to make a new place our home. And as much as, and I think that's like something to say that it's easy to become comfortable, if you're renting anywhere, it's easy to come comfortable and not want to move. And even me, you talked a month ago, you
were anti until we looked at this place.
I did not want to move because I want to move, but I don't want to move.
Well, there's so much goodness to hold on to here.
Yeah.
Like we have so many memories here. And like it is such a hard fucking Band-Aid to rip off, to like leave a place while you're still happy there. But I think it's getting to the point where
leave on a high note.
Yeah, we want to leave on a high note. And I think it's getting to the point, there's so many things that are uncomfortable about this place for us now that like I don't want to leave it on a bad note. Like we're so grown out of it. Like we really need a dishwasher. We really need a washer dryer. We need more closet space. We desperately could use a garage. And like honestly, the ladies would understand, like a second bathroom. Like for God fucking sakes, we need 2 bathrooms. Like I cannot do this singular apartment bathroom any longer. So yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to do the big reveal of what the house looks like. Yeah, it's been crazy. The market is crazy right now. We were like looking at buying, looking at renting, just kind of like trying to weigh our options. We ended up renting a place because just like the buyer's market is just nuts right now. But yeah, it's perfect for us. And we have so many things coming up, and I think it's just going to be perfect for that. And it's in La Jolla. Like it's still one of our biggest goals is like, okay, if we move, it still has to be west of the 5. And basically the 5 freeway in San Diego is like, if you're west of the 5, you're considered the beach communities. If you're east of the 5, you're just considered out east, like like we make this joke where like in the summer, like when the beaches are packed, we're like, oh shit, like East County showed up today, so like it's just this funny joke that we have. And I was like, dude, we are not living east of the 5, but it's expensive, so it's not like, it's definitely like a big ask to like try to find a house with all the bells and whistles for a somewhat reasonable price, which there's nothing reasonably priced in California right now. It's insane. But yeah, so we're stretching, and I was on a podcast yesterday, and we were really talking about like making decisions as like your future self, So I didn't want to go into like this decision of where we're going to live for probably the next 2, 3, 4 years as this person I am now. I really wanted to go in it as who I'm going to be in a year from now, who I'm going to be 2 years from now, because I think that'll allow us room to grow into, even if it feels like scary and like a little bit out of our means. Like I think there's room to grow into it and like make shit happen there, rather than just settling for maybe something that isn't going to be as comfortable for us.
Yeah. And I just appreciate you for always pushing us to get out of this like comfortability, because if it was up to me, I'd live in my comfort little bubble.
Yeah.
And for so many things, I say that, like not just moving, but just in our life.
I'm a pusher for sure.
You're a pusher, and I've definitely always been like, well, why can't we just stay a little longer, I'm all,
no, we gotta keep going.
And every time, like months later, when I look back on those moments, I always think, wow, I'm so glad we did push and move out of that like comfort little bubble, because it's like so many things. But yeah, even like our last dog, Pina, when you have one dog, it's easy. But when you have 2 dogs, it's a whole different ballgame.
So fucking chaotic.
And I was like so against it. I was literally so against it. And finally, after just, you were pushing me,
I was giving you nudges.
And the universe also, like, you know,
gave us the perfect
gave us
dog.
in favor because our dog Coco actually liked the new dog, which Coco usually doesn't like other dogs. So that was just kind of the other. It was like you gave the first push, and that was like the second push.
Yeah.
And now I think back on it, that decision, like I was saying in the beginning of this podcast, that's one of my highs, is having Pina, because she is just so happy and so cute. And I took him to the beach today, and like, I love Coco, but like, Pina was just running as fast as she could in circles for literally 20 minutes. And it was
She's so cute.
It just made me so happy because she was being friendly with all the other dogs. And I just was thinking, I was like, I couldn't imagine our life without her now. So, and I couldn't imagine our life not being here. Like, what if I would have said no that day before we moved in here? You know, what if I would have said no to Pina? It's like, if I would have said no to Coco even.
I would just like to point out that he did say no to all those things, and I was like, try again.
Yes. And that's not to say, like, be overly forceful, but just to be...
Yeah.
Just to be real. You know, I feel like every time you wouldn't get mad at me at the end, but you would just be like, hey, like, what are we really realistically doing with our life? Are you just trying to, like, it just be like before we got Coco, you were like, is it just going to be you and me forever? Are we going to, like, have kids? Are we going to have a dog? Like, you know, you just really gave it to me real and digestible, where I was like, okay, I don't want it to just be you and me. It would be nice to have a dog. So that's when we got Coco 4 years ago. And then...
Well, and it's just like looking at the big picture too, because I think, like...
Yeah, you always look at the big picture, and I've always kind of...
You're like more micro down. And I mean, like, I think that's why we thrive together, because I'm so big picture that, like, I'm fucking chaotic in the current moment.
Yeah, and
you
I'm
know?
opposite of that.
And you're opposite. So it's just like, yeah. And I mean, you know, if you're someone listening who, like, wants things and maybe your partner doesn't want the same things, I think it's important to look at, for me, what's really helped is like, okay, why does Steve not want these things? Is it because I'm being, like, extremely irresponsible with our money and irrational, and he's being totally normal? Or, which also happens, you know, he checks me sometimes. Or is it because he's afraid? And is that fear going to prevent him from being happy? And I think, like, when you really look at, like, the why, like, why are you saying no? Why are you so afraid of being vulnerable? Why are you so afraid of change? And you kind of angle it from, like, a very compassionate angle, you can really kind of, like, have a much different conversation with your spouse, because you can look at it from, it's not really just even about you usually. It's usually about things that they have going on, or, like, fears that they have, or, like, uncomfortabilities that they have. And, like, you know, I think a big fear for you is, like, to be successful.
Totally.
Because you came from, you know,
I just came from, I feel like my whole family and my whole life, it was just, and I feel like this is with a lot of people, it just came from a place of struggle, where when you are struggling and you don't have as much money, that it's like life is always going to make it harder for you to even get even a little bit higher up on the ladder. You know, it's like you live in this struggle, and the struggle becomes you when it's not.
Yeah, it becomes part of your identity.
I identified as this, like, I'm just going to be struggling my whole life. But then you were like, well, why don't you be successful for the rest of your life? And maybe you might have struggled in the first half, doesn't mean you can't be successful in the second half. And I feel like that, I was afraid of that, like, so much. I just didn't believe that we could be successful. Like, I wanted it, but I just couldn't believe it. And now, over the last, like, couple years, I feel like now more than ever, it's like I can envision that. I can see it. I can see where we're heading, and I don't know exactly where we're going, but I know we're on the right path.
And you know how we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting, too, because you start to see, like, a different side of the Matrix. I, like, love to call it the Matrix because it's so true, but you see, like, a completely different side of the Matrix of money and just, like, how other people are doing it. Because, you know, we were just so fucking broke when we met. I mean, you actually had way more money. I was literally just bartending shift by bartending shift, making it work. You know, trapped to student loans and stuff. But anyway, like, we were able to really shift our consciousness together. Mm-hmm. And I think, but we were able to do that because we both really gave each other the opportunity to heal. You know, like, I'm always so grateful for you to the fact that, like, you gave me a place to heal my endometriosis, which also was like a lot of emotional trauma too. But like, you were, we were talking about this the other day. Like, what would have happened if we would have never met? Like, would we have been vegan? Would I have healed my endo? Like, would you still be bartending? Definitely. We definitely wouldn't be vegan. I mean, maybe. Things that are meant for you come for you, I think. But yeah, so it's just, you know, it's interesting when you give each other the space to grow and allow each other to see like different possibilities, even when you are struggling, because I think like your mindset has a lot to do with it. So even when we were broke, like, or when we were both bartending, you were like, babe, you can't keep bartending anymore. You need to not work and heal your endo. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to pay for the rent. I'll work extra bartending shifts. I'll do whatever I have to do. And you did that for me. You did that for us.
You quit your job and started doing Chef Bay full time, and
had surgery,
and I bartended a little extra, and
yeah, we made it work.
And I made it work. It was like that first like 7 months, 8 months.
That was rough stuff.
I just like, I paid for everything, but I believed in your business because it was you just pretty much had.
I was just a private chef.
Just private chefing.
Yeah, and now it's so much more than that.
Oh. I know. I think of, to kind of end this whole conversation, I just think of the quote, especially when you're just talking about mindset and everything, that most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like to be successful, like for me being successful, I never thought I could achieve so many things. And in like a year, I'd be like, well, it's just so much can happen. But now we have so many goals and we're just always pushing ourselves each month that it's just like we're just growing more and more, and I can finally like feel that I can feel the shift inside of me, and it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's just beautiful, and I feel like you just have to just always be pushing yourself. So it's like, you know, what you can do in a month, who says that you can't, you know, maybe just don't try to like overachieve in a month, but just hit your little goals that by the end of the year
you're gonna feel so good. I know you used to say it when we first started dating. You would be like, love is like a snowflake. It falls snowflake by snowflake, and before you know it, like, you're surrounded by a blizzard or something. You would say, like, oh, you're surrounded by love. And I feel like that with almost everything in life. I feel like that with health. I feel like that with tiny little micro things you do every day. I feel like that with like success and like building a business. Because when you look at something in the full spectrum, which is what it's like my thing. I'm always like, what's the big picture? But like, it can get really overwhelming. But if you just focus on every single like little moments, like I always tell our clients and our people in DMs, like, take it one day at a time, take it one meal at a time, like take it one email at a time, take it 1 month at a time. And I think when you really start focusing, like we have our big list, like we have this huge list of things we have to do in the next 3 days. And if a normal person saw that, they'd be like, holy shit, that's insane. But for us, we're just like knocking it off one by one and not really thinking about the whole list. We're just thinking about the current thing that we're on. Yeah. And because we do that, we're able to get so much more done. And I think, you know, it's like time blocking, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, that's the big announcement. We're moving. We're super excited. We're moving 5 minutes away, so it's not really like a big deal to most of you guys, but
to us, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for us. It's a huge move. It's definitely going to be a big stretch for us in a lot of ways, like financially, like everything is just going to be like, we're going to be holding like a lot more, but I think we're up for the challenge. And yeah, it's just going to be a whole new lifestyle. The doggies are going to get a yard, and Steve's going to have a dishwasher, so that'll be super nice.
And a garage.
We'll have a garage. I know. It's going to be like a whole new world. So we're super excited. I cannot wait to share. We're definitely going to post some YouTube videos. We're going to try to get better at YouTube too. It's like a good opportunity to like get back on YouTube more often. I think I've said that
We're on YouTube. We do YouTube shorts.
Yeah, we do YouTube shorts, but like long form YouTubes. Yeah. I think I've said this on like so many podcasts.
And all the podcasts, including this one, is on YouTube.
So yeah.
So be sure to comment, like, and subscribe for more.
Yeah, Steve. I'm dying. Yeah, you guys, we love you so much. We've had so much positive, like especially our last podcast with Adam and Bobby Sud, like we've had the most positive response from that episode that we've ever had, and we're just super grateful for you guys for sharing, for commenting, for DMing, like whatever you do, like we're just grateful.
So grateful.
And if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, if you love the show, it really helps, honestly, so much. Even if you just give it 5 stars, or if you just say like love the show or whatever, like that 5 seconds literally means the most to us.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, we love doing this. We love podcasting. We have some seriously epic guests coming up, and we're so excited to share those episodes with you. But for now, it's going to be Hawaii and moving content.
Yay!
Woo! All right, any last words of wisdom, babe?
To just, I was literally saying this to someone in a comment today, to just lead with compassion and lead by example. You know, I feel like in life we get so caught up in trying to like wish that other people would be trying to be more like this or less like this, when at the end of the day all we can do is control ourselves, lead by example, do what you would want other people to do, and lead with compassion. And with that, life should be okay.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you soon from our new house.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.